In the sweltering jungles of Vietnam, a war raged, not just for territory, but for the soul of a nation, and the minds of those sent to fight it. The United States government, under the guise of halting communism's spread through the so-called domino theory, poured men and machines into a conflict that critics described as fundamentally immoral and illegitimate.
You never know what a day in the skies over Vietnam will bring.
A civil war twisted into an American crusade, where the true intentions seemed rooted in preserving global credibility and economic interests, diverting billions from domestic needs, like poverty alleviation, to fuel a military machine that showed little regard for the lives it consumed. Deceptions ran deep. The Tet Offensive exposed government lies about progress, while the Pentagon Papers later revealed years of hidden escalations and falsehoods. Soldiers, proven to be disproportionately drafted from poor and minority communities, were pawns in a game where body counts mattered more than human cost. Atrocities like the My Lai massacre, where US troops slaughtered hundreds of civilians, underscored a chilling disregard for life by those in command, all in pursuit of a victory that never came. The Viet Cong and North Vietnamese forces, labeled the enemy, mastered guerrilla warfare, a shadowy symphony of hit-and-run ambushes, where fighters blended seamlessly with civilians, striking from hidden spider holes or intricate underground tunnel networks sprawling hundreds of miles. There were no front lines, and there was no mercy. Soldiers never knew if the villager offering water was an ally or a foe ready to sabotage. This unpredictability gnawed at the mind, every action fueled by mounting stress. Along with watching for live threats, soldiers had to be wary of the many gruesome traps set throughout the foreign land. Punji stakes, sharpened bamboo spikes smeared with feces or even poison, were hidden in pits to impale feet and cause agonizing, immobilizing infections. Booby traps fashioned from scavenged American bombs and wire, rigged to doors, trails, or even dead bodies, maimed thousands. One wrong move, and a soldier's leg was shredded beyond recognition, his screams echoing through the canopy. Not to kill, but to wound, forcing comrades to carry the burden and slowly advance. These horrors claimed up to 15% of US wounds, leaving survivors with lifelong scars, both physical and mental.
This is the voice of Vietnam, voice of the American citizen.
The war wasn't just fought with bullets and blades, it invaded the psyche.
They lie to you, GI. You know you cannot win this war.
Psychological warfare eroded morale from afar. Chin Thi No, dubbed Hanoi Hannah by US soldiers, was the North Vietnamese radio propagandist whose broadcast pierced in the night air 3 times a day for 8 years.
GI, your government has abandoned you. The skies are dangerous, GI. They will napalm you tonight. You cannot dig foxhole to hide in, GI Joe. Your bombers will find you.
Hannah was a Hanoi native, turned voice of the enemy. She spoke directly to American GIs.
Defect, GI. It is a very good idea to leave a sinking ship.
GI stands for Government Issue, usually referring to items or documents that are authorized, regulated, and provided by a government or its agencies. This nickname was given to US soldiers to dehumanize them, to refer to them as simply government assets.
Your government lies to you every day, poor soldier.
She consistently listed names of the freshly killed, welcomed US ships by name and crew details. Playing anti-war songs from home to stir homesickness, she sowed doubt.
You have lost this war, GI. Your army will leave you behind.
Her words, drawn directly from US newspapers, aimed to shame and frighten, turning isolation into despair. Sole survivors hid, cortisol spiking, unable to drown out her voice in the dead of night, thinking of home. And incidents proved her point. Friendly fire, where American bombs and bullets claimed their own. In the chaos of battle, negligence thrived. Friendly fire incidents, estimated at up to 8,000, account for perhaps 11% of casualties. Over 6,000 dead from mistakes, exhaustion, or panic. On November 19, 1967, a US Marine F-4 Phantom dropped a 500-pound bomb on the 2nd Battalion, 503rd Infantry's command post, mistaking it for the enemy, killing 45 friendly paratroopers and wounding 45 more in a single, avoidable strike. During the Battle of Hamburger Hill in 1969, helicopter gunships rocketed their own battalion headquarters in dense jungle fog, wounding the commander and disrupting the fight. Artillery errors, like transposed coordinates in 1967, that shelled an infantry company, killing 9 and wounding 40, exposed a system where double checks failed and lives were considered expendable. Soldiers survived being shot by their own, multiple times, only to carry the guilt and pain forever, a testament to a government that prioritized brute force over safety. Chemical warfare amplified the war machine. Operation Ranch Hand unleashed 20 million gallons of herbicides, like Agent Orange, laced with toxic dioxin, to strip jungles bare. It poisoned soil, water, and food chains, causing cancers, birth defects, and neurological horrors for millions. 400,000 Vietnamese killed or maimed, 500,000 children born deformed. US troops weren't spared either. Exposed veterans suffered rashes, diabetes, and cancers, with birth defects haunting their families. Napalm, dumped in great quantities from jets, burned skin to the bone, turning humans into torches in suspected strongholds. Officials knew the risks. Dioxin's dangers were suspected, but proceeded, viewing the enemy, and inadvertently allies, as disposable. The scars ran deepest in the soul, but the government's betrayal extended far beyond the battlefield. revealing a web of inaction and corruption that kept the war machine churning for profit. Returning veterans faced institutional indifference. No grand parades, no robust support. GI benefits were meager. One veteran received just $126 for education, while facing $300 per credit in tuition, and was denied VA care for malaria because symptoms emerged stateside. Disabled veterans fought tooth and nail for housing after a 1971 earthquake demolished VA facilities in Los Angeles, killing dozens. Yet the VA evicted 1,500 without plans, and President Nixon vetoed a healthcare package, leaving overcrowding and underqualified staff unchecked. Lawsuits demanding VA land for shelters dragged on, opposed by affluent communities prioritizing parks over people. Worst of all, the government denied Agent Orange's devastating effects for decades, outright rejected claims of cancers, birth defects, and neurological disorders until 1991, forcing vets into prolonged battles for compensation while their health deteriorated further. It's argued that this inaction wasn't mere oversight, that it fueled corruption in the military-industrial complex, where elites profited handsomely to sustain the conflict. Defense contractors like Bell Helicopter saw profits explode, producing 16,000 Huey helicopters, while McDonnell Douglas thrived on F-4 Phantoms. Dow Chemical cashed in on napalm and Agent Orange. The RMK-BRJ consortium secured no-bid contracts worth nearly $2 billion for bases and ports, with Brown and Root donating heavily to Lyndon Johnson's campaigns, drawing accusations of illegal favoritism from critics like Donald Rumsfeld. Radical researchers at NARMIC exposed top contractors like Honeywell for napalm and cluster bombs, revealing how war spending diverted billions from social programs, inflating the economy for shareholders while troops suffered. Up to 30% of casualties in later war years came from mines and friendly fire, blurring friend and foe in a fog of trauma. Anger and confusion followed. The government's mistake lies in deception, leaving echoes of horror that unfortunately linger to this day. Yet from these ashes, a call to action rises. Hold governments accountable for deceptions and profiteering. Demand prioritization of the people. Inspire a future where leaders serve with integrity, where wars are waged only as last resorts, and where the true heroes, our soldiers and citizens, are supported, healed, and empowered to build a world of peace and justice for all. To the brave men and women who served in Vietnam, we honor your sacrifices and resilience. Your courage will not be forgotten. For those still carrying the weight of that war, help is available. Organizations like the Vietnam Veterans of America at www.vva.org provide advocacy, health resources, and community support for veterans and their families, including those affected by Agent Orange. I should say I am in no way affiliated with this group, but would love to support their causes. If you would like to support them also, their website has information about donations, volunteering, or simply spreading awareness. Visit their website to learn how. Link in the description. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today. I'm your host Ethan, and I hope this video inspired you to stand up against the injustices of today and the future. If you could do me a favor and like, subscribe, just go ahead and do all the things so that this message can go a long way. It also allows me to do more videos like this. Thanks again, and remember, you always have a seat at the historian's table.